Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
Branden Grace has been a world-class player and a worldwide winner for years, and as of today, he is now a PGA Tour winner. Branden Grace wins the RBC Heritage to cap off a wild weekend in golf. And with that, we welcome you into Golf Central. Ryan Burr, joined by Tripp Eisenhower. And Tripp, the one thing you do not want to have at the RBC Heritage is the 54-hole lead. How about this? 5 of the last 6 winners, 5 of the last 6 years, they've come back from 3 or more, including Grace today.
Yeah, you know, being a 54-hole leader isn't very well. Carl Peterson is the only one of the recent champions to do it, and this is the 3rd time Luke Donald's had the lead here going into the final round, and ultimately he was a bridesmaid once again. 3 second-place finishes, one of his 5 top 3 finishes here. Nobody plays this course better without winning than Luke Donald, but Branden Grace, it was a matter of when, not if, he won his first PGA Tour event. Well, he got it done on Hilton Head after missing the cut last week at the Masters.
Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Let's show you how he got it done on this Sunday on the beautiful golf course on Hilton Head. Grace started at 8-3 back, as we talked about. The first hole, what a way to get started.
Yeah, 13 feet. You got to control your golf ball here. That is a wonderful spot to putt from, and he quickly is 5 under, just 2 back.
And now at the second, the par 5.
Beautiful drive, beautiful second shot. Did not hold the green, went over the green, but left a delicate pitch, kind of going slightly downhill, but Branden Grace handled that with a plum.
2 holes, 2 birdies. He was 4 under on the front 9 and making a charge.
A difficult back hole location. You do not want to go long, but Branden Grace, no problem there. That's just 4 feet. He would make yet another birdie.
So started at 8-3 back. By the 6th hole, he's in a tie for the lead. Your 54-hole leader, Luke Donald.
Well, from 2004 to 2013, this was the best putter on the PGA Tour. It slacked off a little bit, but the putter was starting to warm up for Luke Donald.
And takes that lead back at 8 under. So Donald to the 8th now. Tee shot, he's going with 3 wood.
Very next tee, and there's water over there. You see a lot of players go to the right here. You do not see them go to the left, and that's why. Right there, those red stakes, and that's where Luke Donald's ball would ultimately find its home. But watch this right here as he comes down in transition. The hips clearing out. Now, he does release the club a lot, but right there you can see the flip with the hands, a slight closed club face, and Luke Donald makes a bogey.
So with Donald bogeying, the door wide open for Grace to take the lead all by himself at 9.
Just a short hole, extremely difficult green to hit, 91 yards away. That's a tap-in birdie. He's got a 1-shot lead going to the back 9.
Trying to become the 6th international player to earn their first PGA Tour win at Harbour Town.
You know what you got to do at Harbour Town? You got to putt solid from 10 feet, and that's exactly what he did. Yet another birdie, 2-shot lead for Branden Grace.
To 13 now.
And he is so tough when he gets the lead. In fact, he's 5-0 with 54-hole leads on the European Tour, and he got a sniff of this lead, and you knew after this shot there was no way he was backing down. 115 yards to 9 feet, and watch this putt, Ryan. Just about a cup outside the right, breaks just a touch to the left, and that's read perfectly.
And he said, Tripp, when that went in, it was the first time he thought about it. Looking to become the first player from South Africa to win on this great golf course.
Well, he got by the difficult 14th, the par 3, with no trouble, but you see some players hit it left here, and so tough to get it onto the green. But the good news for Branden Grace is he's been solid out of the bunkers. In fact, to that point, was perfect for the week. Let's see if he can keep that stretch going. This 11 feet away, and that's his 6th of 9 putts from 10 to 15 feet for the week at the time.
Putter was on fire. Grace now to 17, another par 3.
All right, there's Calabogie Sound left, so you want to guard against that when you got the lead. And this is a solid shot, just pushed just slightly, which you would expect, but added a bunker there a few years ago, and that caught Branden Grace's ball. And I said he was nearly perfect out of, or he was perfect out of the bunkers. Easy to misread this putt. It looks like it breaks a lot more than that. And Branden Grace would make his 2nd bogey of the day and drop to 9 under.
Now, luckily, he had given himself some pads, so he goes to 18. He absolutely destroys the drive.
The widest fairway on the PGA Tour. In fact, the easiest fairway to hit. But, Ryan, it runs out at about 305 yards, and this ball scampers down there, and it would have gone in had it not been this far right. 312 yards, the longest drive of the week.
And this is what you want, a putt like that to win for the first time on the PGA Tour. Of course, he'd still have to wait and see what some of the others did in the groups behind him, but a 66 in the final round. Here's Donald. This has to go.
Has to go. Now, he had his chances at 15 and 16. Great looks at birdie. He was unable to capitalize. That left him in the tough position of having to make a 2 on the most difficult hole in the golf course, and Luke Donald settles for second once again, and Branden Grace, your champion.
In the tartan jacket for Branden Grace. How about his 4th top 5 finish in his last 9 worldwide starts? This is coming off a great year in 2015 in the major championships. Great run at the President's Cup where he was 5-0. And then this, joining this illustrious list of guys that come back on Sunday at Harbor Town. And Grace does just that, a 3-shot deficit erased by the 6th hole. As indeed Grace comes all the way back, wins the tartan jacket. He is now a winner on the PGA Tour, and he spoke with our Scott Walker.
This may have been a little unlikely after round 2 when Branden Grace shot a 74, but you caught fire over the weekend. For you, what went well all weekend, and especially getting off to a hot start that allowed you to be in this position?
Yeah, just grinding really. You know, like Luke and them said in the interviews beginning of the week, this is it's one of those weeks where nobody runs away with it. You know, it's tough. You have to grind it out, and take the chances when it comes your way. I was fortunate enough that I stayed patient, and I took the opportunities when I came my way. So that was enough at the end.
You've been a top 10 player. You'll go to 11th in the world golf ranking after this victory, but it's your first here on the PGA Tour. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, I'm stoked. I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I've played some good golf, and this is where I thought I can win out here, and this just seals the deal for me.
You've had opportunities at big tournaments, including the U.S. Open. What does winning here do for you going forward throughout the rest of the major season?
Yeah, I'm excited. This was the next hurdle to try to get a win under the belt here at the PGA Tour, and now that I have that, now I can put my sights on other things. Now I know that I can win out here. So now it's trying to push for those majors, and I'm excited to head into the U.S. Open. That's the next one coming.
Well, the boats are clearly cheering you, so congratulations to you as well. Thanks.
Thanks, man.
And 11 is now the number for Branden Grace. He moves up to 11th in the official World Golf Rankings and is also his 11th win worldwide. So a lot of times you sit up here and you say it's a player's first PGA Tour win, and that is a big hurdle to get over. This guy is obviously a proven winner now, 11 wins worldwide. How do you get it done?
Well, Hilton Head and is more like any other PGA Tour event. A lot of the old saying is drive for show, putt for dough. Rarely on the PGA Tour do you see a guy scrape it around and win with just his putter. Typically on the PGA Tour, you look at the winners, it's the group, the top third of the players or top fourth of the players that are hitting it the best, and of that group, the guys that make the most putts. But Hilton Head throws in another wrinkle. You've got to scramble well here to do well because everybody's missing these tiny targets. If you look at the last 3 champions, you can see they all were dead solid in the strokes gained tee to green category. They were also well up there in the putting, but you can see the scrambling, all important. Well, let's see how Branden Grace stacked up, and if he fit this mold, yep, he fit it to a tee. That's exactly what you have to do. On this golf course, controlling your golf ball isn't just enough because everybody's going to be missing greens. You've got to get the ball up and down, and you've got to be proficient with the putter. And the great thing about this golf course is it gives you opportunities with these small greens. If you hit the shots, you can capitalize and make the birdies. It's one of the highest one-putt percentages on the PGA Tour. This week was no different. It's a wonderful old-school golf course that we rarely see on the PGA Tour, and it's refreshing for these players to play, and it's on most of the players' short list of favorites. And now Branden Grace, well, he joins the short list of champions that have won for their first time here. So this golf course can lend itself to guys getting their first wins on the PGA Tour.
And will be very interesting. Scott Walker's question is what does this do for the rest of 16? When you think about 2 top 5 finishes in majors last year, that great run at the President's Cup, maybe this is the year Grace breaks through with a major championship. For Luke Donald, what can you say? Another top 3 finish. He now has 6 top 3 finishes at the same event. That is as remarkable as any statistic as we'll ever read you. Look at all the second places, including this year. He now has, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 second place finishes, unable to get into victory lane. He is able to crack another top 3. He spoke with Scott as well.
Yeah, I guess next year I got to try and be about 3 or 4 back going into Sunday. That seems to be the sweet spot. But yeah, bridesmaid again, unfortunately. But I played okay today. I just had a couple putts that just just wouldn't quite go in. I was expecting someone to play well, and as a great round from Branden.
What is it about this golf course where it may promote somebody coming from behind? Is there something to that?
Well, there's always less pressure on the people chasing. It's harder to lead from the front, you know. And when I made birdie on 9, to make bogey on 10, I lost a little bit of momentum there, and I was just couldn't quite get it back.
Still believe your time's coming here?
Hey, this is my best finish before this was about 21st, 22nd. So this is a great step in the right direction. I'm really positive about my game going forward. I'm pretty positive the way I handled it today. I didn't quite get it done, but I'm excited about playing next week.
Tripp, he talks about less pressure, and you look at last week with Jordan Spieth, who was leading wire to wire when eventually that weight of being the leader did catch up with him. And you think there have been 10 winners this season that have come back from 3 or more strokes down, including Grace today. Is there something to that pressure of leading, just absolutely wearing a player out?
Somewhat, but I don't think that was what it was the undoing for Luke Donald. He played pretty solid, and as he said, the birdie at 9 was a turning point, and then he lost the momentum with a bogey at 10, a really poor shot from the middle of the fairway on number 10. That's the type thing. I don't think it was the pressure that did it. I just think that Luke Donald's not quite back to being the ball striker that he was. At times this week, it was special with the ball striking, and the putter today was pretty solid for Luke Donald. He had a lot of good putts that did not go in the hole. But the other thing about Hilton Head and why this golf course lends itself to chasers is the areas to go for on this golf course are extremely small, and the penalty for not getting the ball close, well, you pay for it. But a leader has to play away from those areas. They have to play more conservative. And if you look at the 4th hole is a beautiful example, a par 3 where Luke had the lead. He had to play 25, 30 feet right of that hole. He wasn't going to go over there to the left because if you hit it short, you're in the water. You hit it long, you're in the water. But the players that do take on that challenge are rewarded with a pretty easy birdie putt. So that's why I think on this golf course, the players that are chasing have that mindset of I'm going to take those chances, and if it pays off, it pays off.
That's a great point, because we don't show you all the guys that were chasing as well that went for a pin and put it in the water.
Correct.
For the one guy that succeeds, he's able to come back from 3 down. And, you know, every once in a while there is, like Jordan last week, where you do have a total collapse. But more often than not, it is conservative play early on. He didn't make his first birdie into the 7th hole when everyone else was birdieing early on. Do you think ultimately that leader, what more than the pressure, it is just conservative play? Because as the leader, that's the smart thing to do.
Somewhat. But he let number 2 and number 5 get away from him. I mean, those are 2 par 5s that he can even reach both of those with his length off the tee. You've got to make birdie on one of those. But he made a great up and down at 3. He had some good looks at birdie. He got that one at 7, and then, well, the swing again. He caught up and hit it in the water on 8 and lost momentum from that birdie on 7. Luke Donald will win this tournament eventually. He's got too good a resume, and the golf course fits it. The good news for Luke Donald, he needs to be very happy in where his game is now from where it was just 2 years ago. Luke Donald's back to doing what he does best, and that's not necessarily driving it the straightest of anybody, but hitting quality iron shots. He's got a fantastic short game, and the putter's starting to get back to the way we know Luke Donald can putt.
And to your point on Sunday, more often than not, if you put a big pack in there that have a chance, one guy is going to take it low. On this day, that was Branden Grace. We will hear more and talk more about Grace, his first PGA Tour win, as he gets to slip on the tartan jacket as the winner of the RBC Heritage. And we'll also talk about who is the reigning U.S. amateur champion, reigning NCAA individual champion, his first professional event. Bryson DeChambeau, a top 10. What does that mean for him long term?
Golf Central is brought to you by Titleist, the #1 ball at the RBC Heritage. Titleist, the #1 ball in golf. Bushnell Golf and the Tour X. Slope technology when you want it. Tournament legal when you need it.